She's the friendly corner of Dade County.
Thank you for having me back today. Like you said, I'm Courtney Gross, corner of Dade County. I just wanted to extend the invitation again, or remind those that are already planning on coming, that Saturday is our event. They've got the sign posted up there, Day of Remembrance. This will be our first annual time ever having this event. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be at the historic courthouse starting at 10 a.m. We've got a lot of people lined up in the community coming to share their resources and share their knowledge with people to help them overcome deaths that they've experienced in the past, whether it was in the last year or prior to that. And I'm really excited to show the community what we have here at home to help each other grow and to, overcome what we've been through. So I hope to see all of you there Saturday morning, the historic courthouse, 10 a.m. It's going to be great. There will be a little bit of food, some drinks and stuff like that. And like I said, great resources. We have some people there to talk to us. So I'm pumped about it. I hope to see y'all there.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. So again, that's Saturday at 10 a.m. over at the historic courthouse upstairs. And Carrie, I'm going to ask you, would you turn the monitor on in the back? So we'll go on now to approval of the previous meeting minutes. You've been provided copies in advance to review. Are there any questions or changes to those minutes? There's 4 sets of minutes. We've got the Trenton Dade Animal Center Committee work session minutes in there, as well as the regular commission meeting and the board's workshop from May the 1st. Hearing none, I'll add that to consent agenda for approval. Number 3 is review of the personnel status report. And we had it shows we've got 9 vacancies, which is a little steep for this time of year, but there's a couple in the jail. I think they may have already hired those. I'm not sure. E911 operators, I believe there's a couple of positions there vacant, and then Billy had one at the transfer station, and then 2 at the road department. So anyway, those are. I think we're about to fill those slots. I don't know about the 911, so if anyone's interested in applying, there's an application online. I will make that announcement. Any questions on the personnel status report? Okay, hearing none, we'll add that to the consent agenda for approval. Under board appointments and proclamations, I don't have the proclamation here, but I will let you know that Dwayne Moon has retired, and we celebrate his retirement tonight. I don't have the proclamation here before me. I meant to bring that, but I just went over at 5 o'clock and read a proclamation for Dwayne. He's retired after, gosh, I don't know, almost 40 years in the business of grocery business, his management. Worked at Red Food, Bilo, and then finished his career out at, of course, Ingalls, and has been
Dwayne from Ingalls is retired.
Dwayne retired. He's gone. And
Holy smoke.
I know. And so a lot of people's happy for him, but not happy to see him go. He's done so much for the community over the years, and given away, I don't know how many cakes and different things for different organizations over the years. So
And just a fantastic person.
Right. So if you see Dwayne, just shake his hand and congratulate him in the community.
Wow.
He'll be around, he said. He said now he's working for free for his wife. So.
Yeah. Now he's got a honey-do list. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, then the resolution R-21-25, we have the first resolution here is to appoint a member to the Board of Assessors. On May 29th, received a resignation letter from Sarah Moore, and it says, I am hereby submitting my letter of resignation to the Dade County Board of Tax Assessors. It's been a learning experience. It's also been a pleasure serving on the board. I feel it's time to step aside and let someone much younger than I have this opportunity. Her words, not mine. And so that's Sarah Moore. And so a young man that some of us may have heard of, Jeff Poston, reached out to us about serving, and As you probably know, he is the head football coach at the high school. And
I say, that's a familiar name.
I said, Jeff, are you positively sure this is something you want
And
to
then I
do?
double checked you, so.
That's
I was
right, it's
like,
your area, so.
You sure about this?
So he's willing to serve there on the Board of Assessors for the unexpired term, and that term is set to expire currently December 31st, 2025, and then if he so desires, he would be reappointed at that time. So anyway, any questions on that? All right, hearing none, we'll add that to consent agenda for approval. And as well as by that resolution accepting the resignation letter of Sarah D. Moore. Resolution R-22-25, reappointment of, this is Donna Street, and this is to the Library Board of Trustees. And she's currently been serving in that role, and they've requested that she be reappointed for a 3-year term.
She's been there forever.
Oh, yeah, commencing July 1st, 2025, and expiring June 30th, 2028. Okay, any questions about that appointment?
No, I fully support it.
All right, hearing none, we'll add that to the consent agenda. Resolution R-23-25, appointment of a member to the Department of Family and Children's Services. The term of Sandy Pullen has come up, and she's decided not to renew, and she'd served many years on that board as well. And so we've received an appointment recommendation. There's a certain, with appointments to the DFACS board, they have to meet a certain criteria that each board member has to come from a certain part of career or something. And so Brandy Clark works at the, what's the place on Sand Mountain? It's not a nursing home, but it's the rehab, that's what I was looking for. Facility as a nurse, and so she meets those qualifications to serve on a term. These are 5-year terms, so this commences July 1st, 2025, and would expire June 30th, 2030. That sounds so future.
It does.
But anyway, it's right around the corner. So any question about that? So we'll add that to consent agenda. Under 5, approval of SPLOST. I don't have anything this evening. So does anybody have anything that I'm unaware of? Or okay, hearing none, we'll move on to tab number 6, or agenda number item 6. 2025 values and assessment notices. Paula Duval.
Good evening, everyone. It is that time of year again. We do have our values established. Our digest has been approved by the Board of Assessors. Normally, we've already sent out assessment notices by now, usually about a month, but we're behind because of House Bill 581, House Bill 92, and our CAMA system getting everything calculated correctly so that when it comes out on your assessment notice, the calculation is correct, if that is the exemption that is more beneficial for you. So I finally got all the updates, all the digest checks to make sure everything's calculating right, everything's looking right. Got that done last night, got everything uploaded. So once we upload it to the vendor, they do request 10 days, so that looks like the date for notices to go out will be June 20th. So 45 days from that date would be August the 4th. And we have a copy of the assessment notice up here. I just kind of wanted to go through it a little bit, just to give a little information so that when you read this, you're getting all the information that is contained here. In that first little blue box up at the top on the right is the just telling you what this is. This is your annual assessment notice. The date will change, of course. It says 5/28 there, but it will say 6/20 with the last day to file a written appeal would be August the 4th. It does say that this is not a tax bill. We do have people come in every year with a check, and we have to reiterate that this is not a bill. This is just your notice of assessment. That's all this is. And this gives you your time frame to file an appeal if you disagree with that assessment, that value assessment. That's all this is. This is your assessment of value for your property. What our office is tasked with doing is setting a fair market value, meaning based on the current market, what do we feel your property's worth if you were to sell it? That's what we're trying to get at. In the box A there is just telling you your 3 avenues of appeal. You have your Board of Equalization, excuse me, you have your arbitration, which is value only, or you have a hearing officer, which is mainly for your larger commercial properties, things like that. Board of Equalization is normally what a residential property will go through if we disagree, if we don't come to some agreement after you have filed your appeal. The Board of Equalization is appointed by the grand jury, so they're totally separate from our office. And basically, it's just both parties present their sides, and the Board of Equalization determines the value based on both sides there. It does tell you that you have 45 days to file an appeal. If you do not file an appeal, a written appeal within that 45 days, your right to file an appeal is lost. You cannot wait till you get your tax bill and then come in and say, hey, this is too high, or this is not right. You have to do it during this 45-day period, or your right to file an appeal for that year will be lost. There are forms available on the website that will be listed there, or you can come into our office. We'll be more than happy to print you one. If you call us, we'll mail one to you. You don't have to come into the office. And it also states that any documents and records used to produce your value, your property value, we can provide those for you. You just have to request any information. We're willing to provide you with anything you want to see. In box B, is the property number, the property information. It's your property ID number, your acreage. If you have any homesteads, you'll see a code there where it says homestead. And then in the bottom of box B is your value. The first value you'll see will be last year's value. So in your 2025 notice, you'll see your 2024 value. Then the next box over, you'll see your 2025 value. The top line is the 100% value, and then the line under that is your 40% assessed value. Georgia tax is at 40%. So the 40% is what you're actually taxed on, not the 100%. So that's something to keep in mind. Also in box B, the last line, there's the reason for the assessment notice. If anything's changed, if you added something, if it's a new construction, you'll see a reason there. A lot of them, if there's really no change except for maybe an inflationary change, you'll see annual assessment notice. And then box C, for our county, the school board, the county commission, the city, nobody provided us certified a rollback millage rate. So what you'll see on your assessment notice, it'll basically look at all the assessment notices we've set before. You'll see the estimated tax, and that's based on last year's millage rate. So also keep that in mind. It's just an estimate. It's current year's value times last year's millage rate to give you an estimated tax. So that's all that is. And there is something new with House Bill 92 this year. Normally for homestead exemptions, you only had until April 1st to apply for the homestead exemption for it to apply for that current digest year. They have now opened that up that you can apply for homestead exemptions during your 45-day appeal period. That will apply for this year. And anybody that applied between April 1st and the appeal time, we're working on that to give them the opportunity to also gain from that. So we're not going to leave them in limbo. And we're encouraging people that come in now to wait until they get their assessment notice so that it can apply for this year. So that is something new. Take advantage of that. If you don't have your homestead exemption, look at your little box up here in the homestead code. If you don't see a code, that's your primary residence. Come in and see us. Let's see what you might qualify for as far as homestead exemptions to get some tax relief. You can also apply for conservation covenants during this 45-day period, which is an agricultural property on your land if you have a large tract property. Normally anything over 10 acres is basically what we're referring to. As far as changes, we did not increase the dollar per square foot this year. It has remained the same. As far as residents are concerned, the thing that may increase your house value is we did increase the porches, decks, patios. We haven't been increasing that with the dollar per square foot. So we did increase those a little bit this year to kind of bring them in line with increasing the dollar per square foot, because all of that is included in the value of your home. So if you see a difference in your house value, that's probably what it is. So we increased those values. As far as rural land, we went up, I think, 2% in the valley, and on Lookout, 2.5% on Sand Mountain. So not a big increase. So you shouldn't see a lot of big increases this year. We tried to do everything we can to keep the changes minimal as far as to what we had to increase. Market is still up. We are still seeing sales come through that we just can't compete with, we can't keep up with. But we did try to minimize what we had to do this year. So when you get your assessment notice, also in that top box I forgot to mention is our website. We do have a website. So much information, such a great resource where you can pull up your property, you can pull up everybody's property around you, you can do sales studies, you can, there's all kinds of things you can find on our website. I encourage you to check that website out, make sure we have everything factually correct. As far as uniformity, it's, check it out, take advantage of that. We encourage you to do that. Please come in and see us. If you want to file an appeal, sit down and talk to one of us before you do that. Let us explain, let us give you the information as to what changes were made and why they were made, things like that. We do encourage you to come in and talk to us and give us the opportunity to explain if there was any difference on your property value. And
Paula,
yes,
where's this website at?
it's in the blue box at the top on the right.
Right here.
On
Oh,
your,
you can just
Yes,
click on that,
it's the
okay.
last little line there in that blue box.
Okay, I got it. Thank
Yes,
you.
that'll have our website.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me encourage, if you do file an appeal, the more specific you are on your appeal, the better decision we can make. Some people want to come in and just write, it's too high. I can't do anything with that. You got to give me some reasons why. You got to, give us some kind of an explanation as to why you are appealing. And then, that way we can have a better, something to work with, something that we can work with you. And we'll work with you. If there's something that maybe we don't know, maybe there's something wrong with the inside of the house that would affect the value of the house, let us know. We'll bring us pictures or, we'll come to your house and inspect the inside if that's something that you request us to do. So, come talk to us. We encourage you to do that when you get your assessment notice. Look at the website. Our phone number's on there. You can call us, during office hours anytime. We'd be more than happy to discuss this with you. So that's all
On the
I have. Anybody have
form,
questions?
it says annual assessment notice 528. Is that,
No, that's gonna change.
that's going to change?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I sent this to her, we were still in the
Okay,
process of
okay. So it's now June 20th?
June 20th, that's right.
And you said August,
4th will be the
August the
45
4th.
days.
so,
It's from the date that it's mailed, which will be June 20th. So
okay,
from that date is August 4th. And
4th.
the days do include the weekends, so it's 45 straight days.
45 straight days. August the 4th is the last day to appeal.
That's
All right.
correct.
August what?
August 4th.
Fourth.
All right, any other questions? And this does meet the criteria under the new 581 and House Bill 92,
Yes.
all that criteria. All right. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, thank you very much, Paula. It's a little later than normal, so y'all have to realize that normally we get these out, what, about May the
Second week of May.
Right. So, May the 12th usually or something, so, it's really gonna be much later for the millage rate process this year. And all we can do is communicate that to the tax commissioner and then let them know, typically we try to schedule everything in early August, so it's gonna be late to mid-August, or mid to late August, I should say, if, hopefully. It might even run up past September 1st. We've tried to get tax bills out typically on September 1st, but that's gonna be a tough one this year. It's possible, but it's gonna be tough, so. All right, resolution number 7, resolution R-24-25, disposal of surplus county property. Madam Gidget, what do we got? I'll read it. We got 2 items, right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Road Department's got a 2002 GMC with 90,000 miles on it. And they also have a 1995 Ford truck with 58,000 miles on it.
Okay. So Billy's still cleaning up over there at the barn. And so we've got these two items listed on, both from the road department that's being retired and surplused, and those will be on govdeals.com. Govdeals.com if anyone's interested locally in bidding on that.
Yeah, don't show your son.
Don't show your, okay.
Did you get on there and bid?
He's been very happy about that website.
Oh, yeah. So, okay,
Is
so
this the football player? Yep, got it.
do I have any questions about that? All right, we will add that to consent agenda as, to move on. Number 8, resolution R-2525, that's the fire protection and rescue agreement. Now, this came up, we've been talking about this since November, but we finally had, I think it was back in May, I don't even know when we had a special call meeting, April or May, that we approved.
The springtime.
Yeah, oh, actually, I guess it's right here, April 9th. We approved the version, but there was a couple of things left out. I'm going to let Dr. Pullen, if you will, just mention what you suggested about it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Well, there was some change in wording, but the idea was to level the playing field. You've got two different things. You've got fire and rescue. We're not requiring the fire departments to provide paramedics or whatever, but fire and rescue is one thing. And it's the firemen, we had a code, I had requirements for their training at certain levels, and they can go anywhere in the county. But it's to, Dade County is the sole provider of EMS. We have the whole county. And it's to get, you can't have 7 different departments going different ways to get everybody on the same page. So it's try to get it, we don't require them to have it, but we need to know if somebody's going to provide these services that they're up to what the other parts of the county are doing. It has to do with dispatch. A lot of the calls of some of the fire departments also include medical, and it's going to have to do with dispatch and what they send and who's responsible. Dade
And
County-
what they're authorized to do.
What they're authorized
Am I
to do.
understanding correct, right? But
There are, I mean, there may be 6 ways of doing something, but the county has proven protocols, and there may be other ways of doing it. This is a way that is recognized, and you won't get in trouble doing it this way. If you have other areas that are doing by a different set of instructions, then our feeling is the county can't provide insurance. We can't provide medical kits, drugs, vehicles. They've got to do it on their own.
Yep.
Carl, you got anything else to add to that?
No, not, I mean, not exactly, no. I
Okay.
mean, it's more to have our fire departments, you know, the majority of what they run is medical calls, so
Yeah.
it's to have, have the more trained, experienced personnel going out there ahead of EMS to provide more care. And then that way, we're doing it in a way that some of them want to do their own thing, but you lose accountability. You don't have any control of what's going on, and it puts the county at risk.
Yeah.
So, we need to make sure that we're covering ourselves as well.
So,
We can't have all departments doing their own thing and no accountability, but not knowing what's going on. But as a county, the county can control who runs what medical calls. So that's what he means by the dispatcher, who gets dispatched on these medical calls. County has control of that.
yeah. And I talked with Rodney earlier and with the other chiefs, so we're good there, right, Rodney? Good? Okay. good to go. Had three conversations today. One, I didn't answer the phone the first time, but we had three other conversations, so that's good. Anyway, and it just covered, this was taken out, and it really needs to be in there. And it's to limit liability, but at the same time, raise the standard of care. So, and I'm going to say that I came up with that, but really Dr. Pullen said that at one of the meetings I was at. And I liked it so much, I wrote it down right here.
I was about to say, that's,
I mean, it's to limit liability, but at the same time, raise the standard of care. And that really sums it up. So, all right. Any other questions?
that's our slogan.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, that was good.
I lost my agenda now. All right, no other questions. We'll add that to the consent agenda for approval. Number 9 is code of ordinances, and this is modifications really to the entire chapter 14. We're under tab 9, and this was handed out, I think, here. Robin, so just to give everybody a little bit of information, we have a committee. Remember, we appointed a committee a couple of months ago, and we call it TDAC. That's Trenton Dade Animal Center. And so they've been meeting, and in that timeline, I guess back in maybe February, I'm not sure when we're hired. Emily was hired as the director of the current facility they have for the city of Trenton, and I can't imagine her not doing it in the future. So I'm excited about that. I've met her, and she's very nice and knowledgeable about this. I asked her to come tonight to talk about this because part of TDAC's responsibility was to start the process of going through funding, resources, a building program, the construction of a facility, the education to the community about this. And part of that is looking at the ordinances. The city already had a set of ordinances, the county had a set of ordinances. But of course, they did not concur completely, and they're still not identical, but they're much closer with some of these amendments. So, Emily, come on up and just give us a brief synopsis of what you've done here. And just realize the county commission is taking the county ordinances up. The city commission will be taking up the city ordinances. And then also talk about what you found with the differences. Okay.
We're gonna have the impact on the budget for a yellow highlighter ink,
Yeah.
I just wanna,
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Emily. I'm the interim director for TDAC and the current city shelter. The main changes you will see, first of all, every item on this document that you see in yellow is something I added or modified. So it's clearly laid out. I didn't just go through and start deleting stuff. Nothing was removed. The county's existing ordinances are very thorough. There's 2 main sections that I recommend modifications, one of which is under animal cruelty. It's at the very end of the document. I'm just recommending we add in medical care as a requirement for pet owners. And I'm not saying, this isn't saying to, what all they should do, but just that it is provided. If your dog gets hit by a car, don't leave it, in the road. The first section, the large sections in yellow that everyone's kind of looking at now, there are a couple of different portions there, and that's really getting the county to be up with the city on the tagging and on the restraint of animals. I'm a county resident, and I understand it is not feasible for every person in this county to have their dog in a pen or on a tie at all times. It's just not reasonable. But this does hold owners accountable for if their animal does wander. If your neighbor's dog comes over into your yard and it tears up your garden, they are held accountable for that. What exists right now, because there is nothing to define the responsibilities of a pet owner other than if an animal is vicious, there's no accountability for nuisance dogs, for dogs wandering in the road, for dogs coming into your house and A good example of this is up on Sand Mountain at that mountaintop market. There's a dog that lives back in behind there, and he wanders up from home and he hangs out at the mountaintop because he knows somebody's going to go in there and get him some Vienna sausages. So he hangs out and he doesn't cause a problem. He's not a nuisance. He doesn't need to be punished for going to get some attention. So basically what this would require is that citizens of the county would need to keep their animals restrained if they can. If the animal is a working dog, or if it, livestock guardian dog, it's a, protection dog, or if they just want it to be unrestrained, they can do that. But the requirement is that if your dog does roam unrestrained, that it needs to be licensed through the county. And this provides evidence that the animal is vaccinated against rabies, so we know it's not going to go out and spread a disease through the area, and it keeps a registration. So if once, this new shelter's up and running, if a dog gets picked up for being a nuisance or running at large, it should, if it's following these ordinances, have an identification tag that we can immediately trace it back to the owner. So that's the main portion there. The next main change that I'm proposing is a breeding license ordinance. And that really plays off of an existing rule with the Department of Agriculture, that if you do breed pets, you are required by the state of Georgia to be licensed to breed those pets. A major issue we've had, I spoke with Lux Rescue about this just today. There's been multiple instances of folks overbreeding animals and causing disease and causing problems, damage to structures, and there's not a lot of accountability with the Department of Agriculture because they're just not able to keep up with the sheer volume. It would take a load off if it were kept up with here. So those are the major changes that you see.
I just, two points. My dogs, they were handled by the vet on Highway 11, right? Now, but the county, not my vet, has a list of the animal tags. We actually do that?
Not right now, no.
Okay, but that's what I'm asking. Right now, we don't.
I am
But
proposing that
we
we start doing
will,
it.
is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, all right, because I didn't think anybody else had it at the time. Now, on this breeding license, so when these people have a bunch of dogs and they're all giving them away at that lot next to CVS, right? Which occurs a lot, right? Those are the people that you're targeting here? If they don't have a license?
If they don't have a license and they're commercially breeding and selling dogs, yes. That licensing ensures that those animals are receiving proper medical care, that the mother or father of the puppies or kittens are not being overbred and abused in that way. It helps control, it's just a backup to the Department of Agriculture because they have this existing rule set forth. It's just there's not as much enforcement as I think they would like there to be.
Okay, then
Yeah, it's not
then how do we know the difference
necessarily-
between?
It's not necessarily, because right now I have a litter of cats at my house that the cat was dropped. So I'm not over there breeding. So once they get to a point, I'll get them fixed and I might be over there giving cats away,
Well, that's
but-
what I was just
Yeah.
wondering.
But
You
it's
have to
just
do
not-
some homework
This is
on
not
that.
a ban on all breeding or all accidental pregnancies.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's unreasonable. This is.
Yeah, that
someone
was my main.
continuously and commercially doing it, which
Yep.
there's a backup to that with the new law that was passed in Georgia
Okay.
for sidewalk sales.
Yeah, so for instance, if there is a problem and there's a call and a multiple call, then that would be when this would come into effect. It's not that they would be out policing anybody or
Yeah, I understand that.
going
That's
in,
good.
so it would be like if there was a problem and multiple problems and there was calls, then that's where this would come in and help out.
Yes.
What else you got?
No, that was my
Are
two.
you,
I'm happy to take any questions.
okay.
No, that addressed the ones I
I
had.
I do have to say on on the nuisance, if a dog comes over and eats all my flowers, I do have to have proof that that dog did that. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yes. I think
Like,
that's
you
right.
can't just go blaming somebody and then it be the other neighbor's dog,
Right.
so. But I'm good with it.
Okay,
I think you did a great job.
thanks.
Commissioner Pullen?
I got, yeah, Section 1491, it says medical care, sanitary conditions, good order, cleanliness to maximum degree practical. What is maximum degree practical?
That particular wording is currently in place. It is not one of my recommended changes. So, and I'm not a lawyer, I don't speak that language. I would assume from the phrasing that it's essentially what you can provide to the animals in a humane way.
Where are you at?
Where are you at again, Don?
14 what?
1491.
Under definitions of
Oh.
adequate.
Okay. Oh, I see, yeah. Okay.
Which
I mean,
definition are you
maximum
looking at?
could vary a lot. What would be maximum from one household to another household?
Which definition under 1491 are you reading from?
Medical care down at the bottom, sanitary conditions.
Oh, the very bottom. It's where the box is, medical care, and
Yeah.
there's
Emily,
sanitary
you want my
conditions.
copy?
Yeah,
Would that be
let's
helpful?
have something.
Right at the bottom.
Yes, so maximum degree practical in this instance, I believe, refers to hazards to the animal's health. If you build a dog house for your dog and there's nails sticking out from the floor that it could lay on and cause injury, shave off the nails. I don't think that's saying everyone needs to go out and spend thousands of dollars on the best products that they make for these animals, but the best that can be done to reduce injury or illness.
Does that mean I'm gonna have air conditioning in my dog house?
No, sir, I believe it'll be subjective and case by
I mean,
case.
I hear we're gonna put that in the shelter. And then, on the next page, medical care means providing veterinary services including but not limited to routine preventives and treatments, emergency care, or treatment of illness and injury. But what's the other thing in there? I mean, what if, what if they get run over and they've got 3 broken legs and is it permissible to endure pain and suffering? I mean,
Yes,
that's
sir.
not listed in there.
Yes, sir. This is not an indication of what should be provided. It's just that medical care must be dispensed. If that dog gets hit by a car and has 3 broken legs, it can't just be left to lay out in the yard for several weeks. It should receive some form of medical care depending on what is the best case for that particular animal in that particular instance.
Which could mean being put down.
Yes.
All right, let's openly talk about something then, right? God forbid, one of my dogs gets hit like that, and it's 3 broken legs, dying practically, right? Even though we're not supposed to go and shoot dogs, right? Okay, I'm laying it on the table
It's
here.
against the law.
That's why I'm bringing it up,
It's
Melissa.
against the law.
I know, but do I have to then take it to the vet to get it put down? Or, I mean, I'm being quite open and honest here. I got a pistol, right? I go home, Biscuit, I love you, but I'm sorry, and boom, and go bury the dog, right? Now, is that still illegal? When you're putting a dog out of its misery, you're not just irritated at a dog that's on your property, so help me out here.
It's a state law that it's unlawful to, I mean, that's the state, that's not even,
I'm just
Us.
throwing it out there because I know this is a legitimate thing that could come up. That's all I'm bringing it up.
I don't think, I mean, in that situation, if you do that and that's how you feel you want to do it, I don't think anybody's going to come over there and arrest you.
That's my whole point. I'm just saying that.
But I think if somebody was coming by and
Help me out, doctor.
an officer saw you, maybe there might be a question.
I understand that. Okay, good, doctor, please,
Well,
please.
just because you don't think they're gonna do it doesn't mean they couldn't do it if somebody drove by or your neighbor was watching you over the fence or.
Right. Well, I'm not saying go in the middle of Highway 11 and shoot the dog. I'm just saying if I went and picked up the dog, put him in the back of my pickup truck, took him back to my property, you know what I mean, and took care of the dog, I think that would be totally cool. All right, I just wanted to throw that out there because that's a realistic thing that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it can't happen and that it don't happen and that you shouldn't, but it is the state law.
I understand, I'm just saying.
I mean, that's just what I'm saying.
Right. I understand, yeah. Because that's the humane thing to do.
Commissioner Hartline.
Are we asking to approve this tonight? Is that what we're doing right now?
Well, we are-
Or are we just discussing it?
So we need, this is recommended changes currently. And so we started ours a little earlier than the city because I figured we were going to have a lot more discussion about it. And so this would only be a first reading. Robin's been working on a draft, but
What I would prefer, honestly, is that we don't consider this to be a first reading.
Okay.
That we look at the comments, y'all get any comments, suggestions to Don, and we'll have something ready for y'all to consider
Okay.
next time.
That would be my
So
wishes.
so we're gonna write Don with any concerns we have, and then we'll take it from there, right?
Yeah.
or Bob.
Fine with me.
Bob is the TDAC.
I got it.
Well, they're both TDAC.
No, we're
folks
both
here.
on
So
there.
my biggest
One,
question
two,
is
one,
on
two.
all of it is, by whose opinion? What is the standards? Whose opinion of how we take care of an animal? Where if the animal's got a broke leg and we take it to the vet and they tell us it's $1,200, but we can't afford to pay the $1,200 and we opt to have the animal put down. Is somebody gonna come back and say, well, it was just a broke leg and it was $1,200, you could have had your dog fixed?
No, that's
No.
not,
This is not-
There's a whole lot of, and I would like to go through this because this is the first I've seen all of this, but there's a lot, to me, there's interpretation and opinions in this, and it needs to be, to me, it needs to be more, just like Bob brought up, it needs to be more cut and dry. It's, because you're almost getting into a leash law for the county, and I'm not good with that at all, period.
I'm not either.
no.
I don't think, yeah.
None
yeah.
of us are.
All right, well, let's do that then. Let's review this, right? And provide feedback, and then we'll take it to another step next time.
Okay,
Okay?
Wait a minute, I'm not through.
Oh, please. All right,
yes, sir.
please.
It says, rabies, who's gonna be doing it? Is somebody down at the shelter gonna be doing it? Is it gonna be the veterinarian, or can they take it to their private
No,
veterinarian?
yeah,
Yeah,
the veterinarian is the only people that
Yes.
could give a rabies shot.
Yes.
So it has to come from your vet.
We are hoping to provide, we do have a veterinarian that works the shelter currently that is going to be on for this project, and we are hoping to, in the future, start a low-cost vaccine clinic, so that owners will be able to get those things annually at a better cost than what a veterinarian can provide.
And it says in there monthly that the veterinarian will send in the money collected for this. Does that mean the private veterinarian sends it in, or is that the county city veterinarian, or?
Where is
What are you
that?
referring to?
Yeah.
It's in here. I don't have my finger on it right now, but,
Is it under use of money, section 14.8?
I think we should get public comment on this and come back another time, but I'll have it, I've got this out here where I can write on it and hold it in my
Where did,
hand.
can you read 14.8 or?
Almost in discussion.
Section 14.8, all that I'm aware of, and when it talks about collecting money, it says, all money collected for the issuance of identification tags and licenses shall go into the county treasury to help defray the expense of animal control. And all that's referring to is the tagging animals through the county, the legal tag. It's not the rabies inoculation or the rabies tag.
Right.
That would go to the veterinarian that administers the vaccine.
There's something in there about the veterinarian turning it in monthly.
Okay, I will look.
I'll
into that.
find it.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's like the city has tags, and I mean, that's a really normal thing to do. And it's not that like somebody's gonna be out policing anything. It just helps in situations where there is a problem or a dog is hit or there's nobody claiming this dog. And so if it's not tagged or it doesn't have the county tag on it, then it's a way of consuming it and getting it to a place where it either needs to live or be put down. I mean, it's not that it's something that, we don't have the manpower that they're gonna be out policing everybody having a tag on. So,
Y'all been to these meetings, so what's the cost of having my dog permitted and tagged?
we haven't got that far.
ballpark?
I don't know, what do you think, Emily?
To have the dog licensed?
Probably
Yeah, to
less.
license it and tag it in that
Well,
ballpark price.
a rabies tag at the vet is around $14, $15, $16.
Not the rabies permit license.
So I feel
to have
like
a
that
dog.
would probably be about the same, under $20. I mean, that would be my guess of what I would think.
Yeah, I think the city is $20 for a tag.
Yeah, so I wouldn't think that you would go any above that, so. Because it's on the same plane as a rabies, so, which
This-
rabies has gone up.
This is not intended to mimic a leash law in
Yeah.
in any capacity. I am a
No,
citizen of
what
the county, and
I'm-
I don't
here's-
believe in a leash law in the county.
So here's how my brain works.
Sure,
You want me to license my dog and get a permit for it, right?
not necessarily.
Oh, if it wanders, right?
Only
Only
if
if
the
it's
dog's allowed
a-
to wander off your property.
Okay.
If the dog regularly
make-
leaves your property and goes off into the road or to the neighbors or down to the store, then this is proposing that dog would be
Right.
tagged.
So what you're saying is I've got to, if my dog leaves my property, I've got to have it licensed. But to pay for the license, just $20.
Yes.
But I'm already funding the county and the animal center that we're building, and now I've got to pay $20 more to have a dog, just in case it leaves my property.
Well,
So since the
okay.
taxpayers are already funding all this, if we're going to do this and you're requiring us to have this animal licensed, we should just come down, fill out the paperwork and give it to them. Because we, the citizens, are already paying for all of it, period. I know this ain't got, I'm just, that's where I'm going with the $20, whatever it is.
We all are
Y'all been to the
also
meetings.
receiving tens of thousands of dollars in grant money that is not paid for by the citizens.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, it's just to ensure, like, so if your dog does go and it does get hit and it's not on your property, then somebody knows who your dog is. If it's on your property and the mailman runs it over, well, then the mailman could say, okay, well, I ran over your dog and I know it's your dog, you know? It's not, and the funds are gonna come back to the shelter, which needs to happen anyway. So, it's pretty regular
It's
thing
one
that,
of the most common
yeah, it's,
shelter functions.
Right.
Is
You-
identify.
You don't anticipate.
I mean, we're gonna pay, you're gonna have to pay for, you know, if your dog gets out and somebody picks it up and is taken to the shelter, well, you'll have to pay to get your dog picked up. And if that tag's on there, they could call you and say, hey, your dog's here, you got this long of time to pick it up. Or we'll have to charge you a stay fee, which be, you know, so it's just a common shelter type of situation.
Or say someone catches your dog on their Ring camera, it's in their yard and it's ate up their vegetable garden, so the shelter picks it up. But there's no form of identification on that animal and no way to know who it belongs to. The person who initially called and reported said, I don't know this dog, I've never seen it before in my life. The dog actually lives 2 houses down from them. We have no way of contacting that pet owner if there's no form of identification.
Or
on the
even
animal.
if they don't do anything, they come on the porch and you give it a treat. And you're like, oh, is this dog lost?
Yeah.
Well, then you call animal control, they can pick up your dog. And if you don't go pick it up, then it'll get charged, or you'll get charged.
The longer an animal remains unidentified in an animal shelter, the longer it has to wait to be identified or for any treatment to be administered, adoption, housing, dog food. It's arguably more expensive to house an animal while you're trying to find an owner for it if it has no identification than it is to put identification on that animal in the first place.
Section 1466, inoculation tags, B down at the bottom. Rabies tags and a certificate of inoculation will be provided by a veterinarian upon inoculation of a domestic pet and collection of the fee as prescribed by the Board of Commissioners. The veterinarian shall remit the fees to the county on a monthly basis.
Yeah, they may do that, I don't know.
No, they've never done that, but I'm glad to know that's there, and that's already our ordinance. That's
Yeah.
not new, that's our current ordinance.
Well, that's where I
What-
got this.
What one was it?
I think y'all are owed some money.
14.
66.
Well, it wouldn't be us, would it? Yeah,
This
because
is
if you
a
have a
rabies.
rabies shot. I don't know how could they do that though, because look, I don't even go around here to a veterinary clinic.
They
I
did
believe
it-
this is if you have a veterinarian that the county works with and pays that veterinarian or have some kind of agreement made with that veterinarian to be the main provider of these vaccines, then that fee would be transferred. But I don't believe
I
that's
think
just.
we just need to eliminate that.
Well, we need to find out why it was put in there in the first place, but that was put in there in 1995. That's a lot of back fees since
I just read it a few days
1995. I know, I paid several
eye,
for
good eye.
rabies shots over the years.
Oh, I have too.
All right, anybody else?
Yeah, and I also want to say before we go past this is, it is not just her, you know, we're a whole group of people that's meeting twice a month to go over these things and read these things.
Right.
So if anybody has a fuss or upset, you know, please call your commissioner. You know, city or county, that's why we're there. Please don't harass this wonderful lady that's doing all this work and helping us get this done, for sure.
And I'm not saying this to harass you, but I think it's things that need to be
Yeah,
spelled out.
yeah,
Yes,
totally.
sir. I'm happy that we're having the conversation.
We
Yeah.
gotta go slow to go fast here. I mean, we gotta address each item here, right, openly discuss it, and then apply it over time.
Yeah, it took us, how many weeks have we've been working on this to even get to this point? So this is a big step for this process of what the people want. So it's really fantastic that we've made it this far.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been about
Thank you.
6-month process.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. It's a work in progress, and we'll continue to work on it and make it better,
Thank
get
you,
it
sir.
right.
Thank you for all your work,
Yeah,
for
thank you.
sure.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Next thing on the agenda is Donna Street. Is Donna here?
I don't see her.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and I'll talk about this. So, the North Dade Historic Resource Survey, actually, Audrey, you want to come up? You're the vice chair. You want to talk about it, or you want me to talk about it? Yeah, okay, all
Yeah.
right. So, back, was 2019 or so, we started the city of Trenton. And through a grant issued from the Historic Preservation Division. And I believe it was right around $20,000 grant, and we had to put a little bit with it, but it wasn't much, and it was well worth it. And it goes through, and actually, we use our board, the assessors, the Board of Assessors, I gotta be careful, property records, to do a lot of research, and your property record card has a date that your home was built. Any home in Georgia that's over 40 years old is considered historic. So congratulations. We all live in probably a historic house. Bill and I talked about that earlier today. And anyway, that took place in 2019. As we all know, this little thing called COVID hit in 2020. And what should have taken 9 months took about, what, Audrey, 2.5 years? Yeah, 2.5 years. And so, but that was just part of COVID. And we successfully completed the Trenton Historic Survey and then moved on to the North Dade Survey. And by the time that had passed, typically, they don't award grants from HPD, Historic Preservation Division, which is now through Department of Community Affairs, anyway. Every year to the same people, but it'd been 3 years since we had a grant. So we actually applied and was awarded a grant for the North Dade phase of this assessment, the Historic Resources Survey. And the reason we say resources, it's not just about houses. It could be a mine shaft. It can be a spring house, a church, whatever's has a historic nature. And so that was accomplished in October 2024. There's a lot of going back and forth, sending this to the state. They review it. They come back with us. Donna and the commission, I should say, did a lot of input on this. And so what you have before you is the product of that hard labor, and it is quite laborious. And you see, it's what, about, how many pages? 200? I didn't print the whole thing, but anyway, well, for me, but. it's-
129.
Yeah, 129 pages of information. So this is your copy to take as a county commissioner and maintain. It's got, we did have some made into a book style this time, which looks a lot better. The Trenton resource was never done that way, but we're going to actually go back and do that. So it's something that we can put on a shelf. But this shows maps, all kinds of pictures of different types of homes in the area, and you know, it goes in detail about it. And then in the middle of this, it actually has a listing of, and I didn't print that part, of what's called NARGIS. And I should know what NARGIS stands for, but I don't know right now. And I'm sure, Audrey, quote that off the top of your head, NARGIS. Yeah, here it is. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources Historic Preservation Division, da-da-da-da-da. We used Cumberland Applied Research Associates to produce this for us. They're a firm that is registered with the state of Georgia, because you can't just use anybody. You got to use a certain firm. And, but they have done it, here it is, the Georgia Natural and Historic Resources, GIS system. And so they take this and put all this information into a string of numbers, basically. And that's basically what we got on the Trenton one. It's not very fun to read. It's just strings of information. So, but this one, they broke it out and gave us pictures and stuff.
Are you related to Judge J.M. Townsend?
He's my great uncle, yes.
Oh, there you go, okay.
And if you look on page 30, if you've got yours, you also see a picture of an example of what's called American Foursquare. And that happens to be the home that just recently burned at Wildwood over on the Creek Road. So this was a picture that was taken, of course, before that fire. And so that's how important a survey is, because once we lose these, they're lost, you know. Now, this structure, there is, some of the shell is still left. There's discussion with that owner about rebuilding. I don't know, but it was quite an estate that burned. And, but that's what this is all about. And our goal, the goal of the Historic Preservation Commission, which is a joint venture between Trenton and Dade County that meets monthly still, is to then now move on to South Dade and do the South Dade portion. Basically around roughly between I-59 or the foot of Sand Mountain over to the foot of Lookout Mountain. And we'll try to capture as many as we can of those, and then we'll be moving either to Sand Mountain or to Lookout Mountain. We don't know yet if we'll split those into twos or not. If we can do the whole thing and afford the whole thing, then we would like to do that. So this is a product of the venture between Trenton and the county to do this. And once we have surveyed the entire county, then we are open to a lot of other top grants for historic preservation. But they won't allow you to do those grants until you check off the whole county of Dade. Some counties can afford to do the whole county. It would have taken about 120,000 maybe to do the entire county at once, but we're trying to break it into phases. And literally, it's probably going to be a 10-year period because of COVID, the way it happened. But anyway, that's what it is. We're not looking for, you know, it's just an acknowledgement. And thank you very much from the Board of Commissioners to the Historic Preservation. And Audrey is the vice chair, and that's what this is about. Moving on to number 11, we have just wanted to recognize that the election building construction project is underway. The bid package, this is the bid package, this whole document here. It does include drawings and MEP plans in the back, and some civil drawings are at the back, very back end of it, for some additional dirt work and such. But this is published on our website, and it has been now for a few days, I think since May the 22nd. And we've also published this on the Georgia procurement site, since we, of course, anticipated the cost probably a little over 250,000. We know that, a lot over 250,000. But anything, that's the threshold, anything in excess of 250,000, you have to publish on Georgia's procurement website. But we did put in here, there is a mandatory bid meeting to review the proposals in person. And when is that? June 10th. That's next Tuesday. This is at 8:30. I thought it was at 9:30. But anyway, it's at 8:30. So contractors are early birds. And so we would do it would have done it in here, but I think that's the election.
It is.
The election's still taking place in this room. So there'll be, is it in the historic, the historic courthouse upstairs. So if you're interested in that, feel free to attend that meeting to go over that. The reason we put a mandatory pre-proposal conference is because, we get somebody from Texas or get all these that may cause the bids to just go out through the roof. And so we wanted, we hope that there's a local person interested in it. Haven't received any bids yet or any proposals, but it's typically you won't until you have this pre-proposal meeting. So that's what that's about. Any questions about that? All right. And then number 12 is the budget cycle. Let me get over here. We have this year's budget cycle is listed there, and we've got our first meeting on June the 20th. We'll be holding a public hearing to review the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget. That will begin here in this room. Hopefully there's no elections. We don't think there will be. That's a few days after the election. I think the election actually takes place on the 17th.
It does.
But anyway, 10 a.m. here in this room, and that will be probably a two-hour plus hour meeting. I mean, it's a long meeting, but it gives every commissioner and director and constitutional officer an ability to come and talk about their needs, their requests for the upcoming year's budget. And then on the following week at 10 a.m. on June 27th, we'll be considering the adoption of the budget. We currently are out of budget on this budget, so it's not balanced yet. We're still working on it. You can see there's a draft version a draft version available for review online. And it's, you see all the revenues on the left side and all the expenditures on the right. And so we've met with just about everybody that wants a meeting, and then we've called a few meetings. The folks that did not schedule a meeting to review. The large thing that's causing the inflated amount, and we're out about 350,000. And what's caused that primarily is, again, insurance. I mean, our insurance did go up 8%, but this year, and that was, we did not pass any of that along to the county employees. We typically either raise the deductible or we pass it directly on to them, but this year we did not do that and have not suggested doing that. So that's that. So we'll be getting into more in depth about it on the 20th. If you've got any questions, Rebecca's doing a fabulous job, and she'll be glad to talk to you about that, or I can talk to you about that. So either way, any questions about the budget process?
Wait, so it's the 20th, and then it says June 11th?
The 20th and the 27th.
The 11th is when we have to put the notices out.
That's just when you
Okay,
have to
okay,
put, yeah.
okay, I gotcha.
So,
And that's at 10 o'clock on both days?
yes.
27th.
20th and June 27th, both at 10 a.m. We started to put a different time, but it gets confusing when you do that, so just try to keep it the same. I hope that everybody will be able to be at that meeting. Number 13, we have
Four-way stop.
the four-way stop. We want to talk about that?
Yeah, this has kind of been going on for a little while now, and there's been several accidents, and two that I know of that were very severe. And so I've had many people that drive in that area because Plum Alley goes all the back, way back and around, requested it be a four-way stop. So my question would be, to Robin of how do we go from here and,
I would suggest that we ask the sheriff's department to take a look at it and to make a recommendation to us about that, and we'll take action.
Okay. okay. Is that something that we have to come back to the table with or?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I guess we would, I
Okay.
suppose.
Yeah, I think we would.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
yeah. And
I mean, I just throw this out, does anybody have an objection to it? Okay, all right. I think what we'll do is seek a guidance of the sheriff's department and then ask sheriff's office, don't want to offend anyone, and about this Memorial Drive at Plum Alley, making that a four-way stop. And then, unless someone wants to vote on that or have another question, or our ordinance requires us to vote on it, it may just be approved through Public Works, and we'll go that way. All right.
yeah, and I don't, it
Did you
would,
catch that, Tommy? You're in charge, okay? Make Uncle Melvin mad at you.
I don't bring him
Oh,
up.
sorry. Just kidding, Melvin, just kidding.
It wouldn't hurt for Billy to maybe put an eye on that area too, like if there's any, side work that could be done through the county. I don't know if that would
Yeah,
help out
okay.
too, I don't know. It's pretty clear other than the one side, so.
Okay. All right, any other business? Hearing none, we'll take a recess and reconvene here shortly.
We'll thank you for all that you let us enjoy in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Everyone face the flag, hand over heart, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
This is the regular scheduled meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners, which takes place at the same time on the first Thursday of every month. Proper notice of this meeting was given to the legal organ of Dade County and has been posted in the hallway of the administrative building. At this time, I'll call the roll and have it recorded by the county clerk. Dr. Pullen?
Present.
Mr. Hartline?
Present.
Mr. Woods?
Present.
Mrs. Bradford?
Here.
And the chair is present. We have a quorum and therefore a legal meeting. This time, do we have any citizens' participation? Did anybody sign up?
No.
No? Okay, all right. No one signed up for citizen participation. Feel free to do that. Gave you a little extra time at 7 o'clock, past 7 o'clock tonight. All right, at this time, I'll call upon each commissioner to make any point of privilege, personal privilege. Dr. Pullen.
I-59 down in my district's taking a pretty rough lick. This yesterday, we've had wrecks galore and not a sinkhole, but a separation of the pavement, I believe. Hopefully all of that's present and traffic's back going. It's not going down in front of my house solid all the time. I was at the last water board, and as per their time before, the 24th of this month, the Vanguard and 299 is still on schedule to go through. There's been, I'm not working again.
This computer's not working.
But anyway, this computer doesn't like me today. That's about the fourth time it's gone off. Thank you. So anyway, that's on board, and I talked with Elizabeth Zeller today, and I've had some calls about this fluoride, fluoridation and stuff. It's gonna take a petition of about 550, 600 voters to get this thing to come up. It's gonna have to come from the state still, and it's gonna have to get a petition in there to do that. The next slide is the number of calls that I usually present. We are back up to 4 ambulances running now, and Dade EMS ran 18 calls, Memorial EMS, which the county contracts with, 207, for a total of 225 ambulance calls. Fire department, south of Dade was 12, and Dade County stations 1 and 4, that's Trenton and North Dade, handled 108 calls. New Salem 23, Westbrow Fire Department 22, New Home 15, Davis 44, Dade EMS 911 had 25 with the Mountain Rescue 1, Dade County Public Works 13, and the Georgia Forestry Commission 1, for a total of 268 calls. Dade Coroner had 3 calls. The Georgia Department of Public Safety, that's like the truck folks primarily. Dade 6, Dade County Sheriff's Office 727. Trenton Police Department 1,202, and I'll have to refer you back to the Dade Sentinel. They broke that down on what Trenton how their calls are broken down in last week's paper. Right, Lydia? That's how I read it. And then the State Patrol had 35 for a total of 1,973 calls. And the 911 Center had handled 2,466 calls. Still a lot of calls. I don't have a lot else to say, unfortunately, other than the road. I think things were fairly quiet.
All right, Mr. Hartline.
Okay. So we're gonna, I'll start off with electrical inspections. April, we had 7 new construction. May, we had 3, so we were down. New construction, temporary, 6 in April. We had 8 in the month of May. You can come down and then we see, the one that stood out to me was chicken houses. We had 2, but they're building eight new houses on Sand Mountain, so them 2 there was just power going to them 8 that they're building now. But as far as electrical inspections or permits, we had 22 for the month of May. We had the antique alley at the sports complex. Had that over the weekend. There were several people there. Turned out good. Want to say thank you for everybody that come out, rented the space. I feel like it's a really good spot for them. You got restrooms, good parking. And then as far as the sports complex, you got rec football signups going on now. They've been working on the fields, trying to get ready for their tournament that's coming in June the 13th through the 15th. They've got 6U and 8U state tournament. They said they had about 25 teams. And I think it takes them about, 4 days there, 3 or 4 days, they'll be down there playing. So that's really good for us. It'll get people from they're all over across the state from DZ Dean. So it gets a lot of people to see our park and how nice it is. And I'm hoping within sometime this month or the first of next, we can get started on the building for the soccer and football. That's all I have.
Mr. Woods. All right.
Bring up my first set of slides, please. Okay. All right, as always, a reminder about the senior center, which is down at the sports complex. If you'd like to make donations to some of the programs going there, please send it to them there at that address. Just a reminder that it gives our seniors within Dade County, for many folks, a good reason to get up every day. They go there for breakfast, they have activities, they spend time with each other, and it's a very, very positive thing. So it's just a good quality of life. Next chart, please. There you go. All of us in here probably take this for granted, but going to Western Sizzlin', that's my favorite steak place, but anyway, going to Western Sizzlin' is a big deal. You know, people that don't get to travel much, all right, don't get to go out to eat much is a really, really big day. And various shopping trips to Walmart and the like, and they look forward to it every time. Last month, they also had Mother's Day and Memorial Day recognitions and parties. McBride's Bookstore donated a bunch of books, which always comes in handy, and they also helped orchestrate a youth group from Springfield, Missouri to come in and sing for them, so that was nice as well. And Meals on Wheels, of course, continues to give great support, and they gave over 1,458 meals during the last month. Next chart, please. The South Dade Fire and Rescue, the barbecue fundraiser, they do this twice a year, right? It's going to be this coming Saturday. Now, let me tell you something, folks. You know, it says it starts at 11:30. Well, you better be there at 10:45, all right? I'm just telling you right now, okay? Because the line's long, the food's fantastic, right? You know, I'll be there myself picking up some meals, of course, but strongly recommend it. And the thing about it is, people get there early. A couple of years ago, a good friend of mine who just recently moved here, you know, he just read 11:30, so he brought his happy little butt there around 11:30, right? Barely got some, because everybody and their brother in Dade County is down there getting it, and they cook a lot. So, but please come support South Dade Fire and Rescue. All right, can we bring up the TDAC slides, please? All right. You know, the planning meetings are held on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. The meetings during June and July will be held at City Hall. None of them will be occurring in here because of voting going on. Okay, and the next one's gonna be on 17th of June, again, 17th of June at 10 o'clock at City Hall. Next chart, please. The main takeaway on this one is that the TDAC is not operational. That's the Trenton Dade Animal Center is not operational yet. Therefore, our current animal control procedures are still being used. We're in the process of discussing, seeing what changes do need to be made and that type of thing, but none of that's all discussion and is being developed and planned. We haven't made any changes yet, okay? Now, the last thing on here, I should have highlighted, we are capturing the actual cost of services that were provided by other agencies, right, that do the type of things that the Animal Center is going to do. So we're in discussions of that to see how much it's gonna cost and that type of thing. Next chart, please. 501(c), it's gonna be called the Friends of TDAC, Friends of Trenton Dade Animal Center. That's gonna be the name of the 501(c), right? So when you see that, you know, people like to make donations, they can definitely do that. The main takeaway, y'all, is that we want and need public input on this, okay? We really do. Please come to our meetings, right? We give you the opportunity to openly discuss things, concerns that you have. We want input from the citizens of Dade County because we want to get this right. And we don't want to spend a lot of time, effort, energy on all this, and then for somebody, Johnny Springbutt, to hop up and say, oh, it should have been dibba-dibba-dib, when you didn't say a thing during the whole time. Okay, so we want public input, we want you to show up, and we want your participation. Thank you very much.
Johnny Springbuck, all right, like that one.
Well, and
Commissioner,
I'll add to
Bradford
that.
Christensen.
Also, the things that we are bringing to the table, you know, are very, very much looked at by many people. And so it's important stuff, and, you know, just try, we got a lot of meetings, try to keep up if you're interested, and both our numbers are out there, email, however you like to communicate. I'm not a huge Facebook person, but I will try my best to get you on there. So please put out what you want now before it's put in stone, or not necessarily stone, but it's put in. And then on my other stuff, first I wanted to bring up glass. We're waiting for them to put in a platform where they're able to do what we're asking them to do. And they're still kind of working on that and getting out the kinks. So hopefully that will be being set up in the near future. I would hope within the next couple of weeks we would have some bins out there and a sign that's gonna tell everybody how to recycle their glass. And then tomorrow, which I was hoping to get it in before this meeting, but I am going to West Rock Recycling and check out their facility and anything else that they can help us with a very low cost to free, and see what they could do for us. And of course, we've got Tire Amnesty, the 14th this year. We usually do it in May, but we had to put it off a little bit. So June 14th, 9 to 1. Of course, I'll be there a little bit earlier to get everything set up and everybody going. And we're also partnering with American Legion on retiring your flags. And I would just like to say how important that is to me. This is the annual Alan Bradford Tire Amnesty, and he would be so proud to have the Legion there he was very proud of those flags, and he would love for this to be going on. So I wanted to thank the Legion, and it's with recycling and helping the county, and it's really a great day. So it's a lot of hard work for everybody, but if you have any questions, I'm here to answer any questions or help out in any way.
And again, on the flags, this is giving citizens the opportunity to turn in flags that need to be properly taken care of later. We're not doing it at the transfer station, but the American Legion is receiving your flags that day.
Okay.
And so they'll be there near at the entrance when you pull in and hand the flag, and the American Legion will take care of it.
How are you going to handle them? A bag, or what's the proper?
No, they can just hand us the flag, right,
Okay.
itself, and then
Okay.
we have a container that they're gonna put them in,
Okay.
right, and
Okay.
and they'll carry them back to the Legion.
Okay. Sounds great.
All right. Also, there is a container right outside the Dade County Tax Commissioner's office that.
We
you
empty
can
it all the time.
Empty,
Yep,
yeah. So many people have been using that for some years now to collect, and the receptacle there to collect the retiring flags. So if you're unable to make it next Saturday, you can always do that when you're going to renew your tag or license or whatever over here at the Tax Commissioner's office.
I do have one.
Oh, yeah, sure.
One more. Anybody about the signage that we're talking about on Memorial and Plum Alley, please call me if you disagree. Please let us know before we send people out and further discuss and go on with this. Please call, let us know.
If it's like the four-way stop on Sand Mountain, a few people may run it a couple of times before they figure it out. But anyway, that's a great idea. All right, busy month, which is always great, and had a weather radio giveaway at Tractor Supply. My friend David Carnes, some of y'all may not know, but I report the weather for Trenton, and I've been doing it since 1986. And so, but anyway, David came down to Tractor Supply, and our EMA folks, Ansel and Kyle and Alex Case and different folks from over there, Daniel Jones, were there on site to program the weather radios. So if you didn't get yours, there's still, I think, some for sale over there at this point, and you could always drop by here and we would help you if you need help doing that. But that was a great giveaway. I don't know how many we gave away. Do y'all know? Anybody know? 70? Yeah, about 70 people showed up. Okay, so it was a good day. Also had at the beginning of May, Respect for Law, and the annual Trenton Dade Optimist Club sponsored the Respect for Law program. That is a spectacular program. Was privileged to give a little speech, and Alex and I read the proclamation, provided that both commissions had jointly approved. But many awards were given that day, and I think the top law enforcement officer of the year was represented through the Georgia Bureau of Investigation this year. So he is a retiring officer, and but anyway, what's his name? Do you know? The GBI guy. Yeah, Montgomery, Officer Montgomery, or Agent Montgomery, get that right. So we congratulate him on the top law enforcement officer for, I'm just going to say Northwest Georgia. I don't know if the other counties do this or not, but we're one of the only counties in the state that put that recognition program on each year, and we're very proud to do that. Typically, it's always the first Tuesday in May, if you are interested in that, to put that on your calendars. We had plenty of congratulations to our graduates. So proud of our local graduates from the high school, some colleges and local universities. Proud of those folks too, but also the elementary school. Davis Elementary had their graduations, and the Dade Elementary had their graduations, and was able to speak to the elementary graduation. They don't call me over at the high school yet. I'm not, important enough for that, but I got to go to the elementary school, and it's fun. And then I got to go to the kindergarten graduation, and that is real fun. They have a lot of energy. So we were excited to be there, and congratulations to all those folks. And accolades to one of our former commissioners that used to sit right here. Robert Goff was named the Alumni of the Year. So we're thankful for former Commissioner Robert Goff, who is named Alumni of the Year over there this year at graduation. Thank you to the FFA. If you've noticed out here, the planters and things, we, last year planted some flowers and they didn't last long because they're small pots and then it got really dry last year. Well, this year it's rained a lot and 12 inches almost in May. And so we planted succulents. So I guess the succulents love the rain and the FFA did all that work and we appreciate their efforts. And so we still have some planting to go, still planting a few flowers around the historic courthouse. Excited about that. It really looks great. Various meetings took place this month with different folks. Mostly though, the budget meetings taking place in office with the different directors and officers of the county. And so anyway, it's enough. I won't get into all that. We've got coming up next week, is it the 11th, Stacy? Is Stacy gone? All right. I think it's the 11th coming up this week, June 11th, that 9:30, is it at 9:30?
It is.
I'm sorry, what?
It is.
Yeah, 9:30, and it's going to be upstairs in the old courthouse because of the election. I'll talk about that in a minute. But again, upstairs, the historic courthouse, it's for land disturbing contractors, if you per se. And so what we're trying to accomplish with that, we're not passing anything new. We're just trying to get everybody on the same page, make sure that everybody's informed. We're going to have different state officials here, from environmental science downstairs to motor carrier compliance to, just different people, Environmental Protection Division. Some of these people know them, some know them well, others they may have never met. And so we just want to introduce the community and specifically our excavators and such to these individuals and help them navigate the state laws. There's several state laws that's in effect. Most of us comply with those, but there may be a few that's unaware of different things. So that's the goal of that. We do have I talked about this in the update a couple of weeks ago, a land disturbance permit. It's been on the books for years. That's nothing new. So it's just a permit that we offer in the county commission office for anyone that's going to really disturb more than an acre of dirt. You just want to stop by and be on the right side of the law about that. Make sure that you know what you have to do according to state law. We're here to help you navigate that, and again, not to get anybody's business. We do want to reiterate what we heard earlier about the Coroner's Day of Remembrance. Remember that Courtney Gross, she was here earlier, but in case you didn't see that part of the program, she invites families and loved ones to join us for the annual Day of Remembrance. It's going to be a heartfelt event honoring those who have passed away during the past year and or years. If you last couple, 3 years, feel free to attend this meeting. This gathering provides a space for reflection, support, and healing, bringing together community members to remember and celebrate the lives of those lost. Through words of comfort, shared memories, symbolic gestures, we come together to acknowledge the profound impact of loss, and offer compassion to those who grieve. So that is this Saturday, June the 7th, beginning at 10 a.m., again, upstairs in the historic courthouse. So we invite you to that.
And Courtney asked the American Legion to participate, and they'll be doing that as well.
All right. And so, and I believe our chaplain may be there too. So we look forward to seeing you there. I hope you can make it. Tire amnesty, just as we heard, we want to make sure that we do recognize that the following week. There is a rain date. We will do our best to try to get that in. It's quite an event to plan, so unless it's pouring rain, we probably will have that event. If it's a not light mist, we're probably having it.
Well,
So,
we'll have it if it's
yeah,
not lightning.
that's right. So, okay, unless it's a severe thunderstorm outbreak that morning, we're probably gone for that day. So
Yes.
just be aware of that. We want to make sure you bring those old tires from your community and your backyard or whatever.
So unless Noah shows up, right? We're having it, that's the bottom line.
Well, I
Yeah.
do know a Noah,
Okay,
so
all
I
right.
don't know. Be specific about that, no, which one? And also, I just want to reiterate, if you've never been to a tournament, it's quite a thing to see. So the a state tournament's coming to our community, as Commissioner Hartline mentioned, June 13th, 14th, and 15th. And so there'll be food available there, and just come and participate. If you've never been to one, it's quite exciting to see, and that's a lot of folks coming to Dade County. We have been working on the exterior ball field lighting. I think most of it was fixed today, and so that's a positive thing down there. The election, we are having an election in this room. It's a special state election. It's not a local election. It's for the public to replace 2 public service commission seats, and public service commissioners, right, I believe. And that's, the election is actually on June 17th, and there will be elections at every precinct, as far as I know, that day. So anyway, just be aware that the early voting continues here in this room. I know this week I think it's probably next week as well, and through the 13th, okay. And then I had a meeting with the senior center, some representatives from middle management of senior center through the area agency on aging, and it was a productive meeting. Then more to come. Bob's going to be involved in that, so we'll have more to talk about that in a month or so. Still working with the railroad on Morgan Road. Railroad moves at a railroad speed. It's not as fast as a train, but let me tell you, we're working on it. And so the people that live on Morgan Road, just be aware that we are doing our best to get a railroad crossing across that road there, because we have seen many wrecks over the years and railroad incidents that we want to address. We are in the process in the commission office of creating what's called the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. It's called, the acronym is GICH, G-I-C-H. And what that does in a community is it targets affordable housing development. Now, and I'm not saying Section 8 or whatever it is. I'm talking about affordable housing for individuals, infrastructure readiness, and strategic redevelopment. If you're a GIC certified county and GIC certified city, when you apply for different grants, it's based off of a score. And being GIC certified will give us a few extra points on those grant applications. And so it's not an easy thing to attain, but we're in the process of working with that board, with the state, to become a Georgia Initiative for Community Housing certified. And so Gilmer County is a fellow county nearby that has that designation. Rossville has that designation. And Gainesville, Madison, Georgia are 2 communities. Especially Madison is similar in nature to us, and so we're looking at some of these counties to communicate with and leverage local collaboration and planning to achieve measurable housing outcomes. Just one of the key observation is 37% of Dade County's workforce lives outside of Dade County. That means that 37% of the workforce is coming into the county, and then they leave every day. So, and likely due to limited affordable housing. So we're working with the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission to complete a letter of intent and to start an application. It's a tough thing to become certified the first year, and chances are we won't be able to do it this year, or be selected, but it is something we are looking at. I'm happy to announce tonight that we have some great information pertaining to grants, and if I can pull it up again here. You know, we have Kathy Reagan in our office now. She's part-time, and grants are one of those things you can go a year or more trying to apply and never see a penny. I mean, it's just one of the, it's a tricky thing. But she she came on and she's been applying for a grant about one a week since she's been here. And so one of the things that she resurrected that we had once upon a time was called the Emergency Food and Shelter Program. It's called the EFSP grant, and that's those funds come actually through FEMA. And so Dade County she applied for these grant funds, and they come in phases. And so over the last 3 or 4 phases, she's been able to attain a total of $19,862. So what do you do with the money? Well, it's very specific in nature as to how to spend the money. But we've chosen to use that with food services, and that means meals, groceries, food pantries, food vouchers. So we are supporting, if you recall back in January, the Chattanooga Area Food Bank came before us and asked, I think they asked for I don't know if it's 5,000 or 10,000, but how much? 6, yeah. Well, we're doing 6. So I think they asked for 5. We're going to give them, we've awarded them $6,000 to the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. And you say, why Chattanooga Area Food Bank? Well, they actually offer groceries and food boxes down here at Piney Grove. Is it once or twice a month? Twice a month to our local citizens. And then we're giving designated the rest of the money, which this last tranche of funds is $9,435 to the Tri-State Food Pantry at the Sand Mountain United Methodist Church. And that is in addition to another $4,400 that we approved just about 6 weeks ago. So we're working on that. So if you are in need of food, if you'll reach out to the Tri-State Food Pantry, they can assist you and at least give you information on how to attain that. But that is one of the grants that she's worked on and was approved. Also, her, as well as, and I give lots of kudos to our CFO over here, Rebecca Jones, for the LMIG and the LRA grant. LMIG grant is the Local Maintenance Improvement Grant and the Local Road Assistance Grant. LMIG, we've just received $391,034. And LRA grant, we received $479,733. That's a lot of money. That's $870,000 plus dollars. So we're thankful for our grant writers and those that are diligent. Now, the state's been generous to us in regard, so we give credit also to our state legislators because they also help promote those funds. But a bigger grant that I'd like to tell you about that Kathy is directly responsible for is she applied for, with the help of Kyle Gross and Alex. I'll give Alex a little credit, but Kyle did a lot of legwork on this one and gave it to Kathy. They applied for congressional spending through Senator Ossoff's office. And so that was that's a very highly competitive process. I mean, extremely competitive. Many thousands of projects are submitted every year. Ours has been selected as one of those. And we just received information that it has been selected. It's for $406,000 for 2 ambulances. That's huge because ambulances are quite expensive. And so, but now that's just the beginning of the process. We're excited that he has chosen Dade County, but now it has to go to the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Food and Drug Administration. Then it has to go through other related agencies. If it clears those hurdles, which most likely will, not guaranteed, but we hope, then it goes to the full Senate for a vote in advance of the appropriations package that includes the project. After that, it goes back to the House, and the Senate must agree on an appropriations bill that includes our project. And then it will be signed by President Trump. So it's a great opportunity. And we thank Kathy for that. I'll just be honest with you. We would not be getting that. I don't think it would have been on her radar, but she's been looking every day for different grants. So I thank Kathy for all that. She didn't want me to say a word, but I didn't care. And then we are working for the mitigation bank too, that is part of the Georgia Alabama Land Trust. So I know that was approved at the Limestone Valley RC&D meeting. And so anyway, that's a process of going through called a mitigation bank in lieu of feed banking programs or something managed by the Georgia Alabama Land Trust. So we're working towards that with Stephen Bonico, and so hopefully we'll have a little more information on that soon. A lot of mumbo jumbo, but it's good, all right? It was good. I'm sorry to take so long to talk about that, but I felt like it was worth the time to share that, because that's all good news, All right. Any questions or other comments? All right, hearing none. I don't think we have any appearances tonight. I know you are disappointed by that, but, right, they're all electronic tonight. We had 2 last month, if you recall, so we don't have any of the regular appearances at this time. Sandy White with the Chamber, Laura Beth Cunningham with 4-H, and UGA Extension, and then Lydia Sosi with Manager of the Public Library. All those did submit a report. They're all online if you'd like to take a look at those. All right, so now I'd ask Ms. Rebecca Jones, CFO, to provide the county financial report.
Okay, the first page that you'll see there are our account balances as of May 31st, 2025. The next 2 pages go over your income statement as of April 30th, 2025. I'll go over the year-to-date actuals and budget for each. Your revenues, year-to-date actuals, $13,498,535. We budgeted year-to-date $13,493,946, so we've actually collected in excess $4,589. Our expenses year-to-date actuals, $12,906,052. Year-to-date budget, $12,948,103. So we're actually under budget by $42,051. The next 4 pages are your loss trends since 2010. Lost as of May 25, we collected $247,606. Splost for May, we collected $309,508. The next several pages goes through your 2015 and 2021 SPLOST detail. And then the very last page is the year-to-date tax collections from the Tax Commissioner's Office. The percentage collected as of April 30th, 25 was 99.96%. I did the report for May, and we're actually over 100% now.
Oh, great.
In that.
Good problem.
And that concludes your report.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions pertaining to the report? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented by Mrs. Jones.
Make a motion?
Second.
Motion and second's been made. I have, let's see, I will now poll each commissioner, have their vote recorded. Dr. Pullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Motion is passed by unanimous vote. Mr. Robin Rogers, County Attorney, are there any legal matters to discuss?
There's not, Mr. Chairman.
All right. I'm not aware of any unfinished business to discuss. Hearing, is anybody aware of anything? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Under new business, the reading of the minutes of the last month's regular meeting or any special call meetings will not be required since all commissioners have been furnished copies in advance. The minutes are public record and available for review in the county commission's office. The minutes are included in the consent agenda and will be considered for approval under new business. I will ask the county clerk to read aloud the items for consideration on the consent agenda.
Approval of the agenda, approval of the previous meeting minutes from May, the review of the personnel status report, Resolution R2125, the appointment of Jeff Poston to the Board of Assessors for the unexpired term of Sarah Moore, Resolution R2225, reappointment of Ms. Donna Street to the Dade County Public Library Board of Trustees, Resolution R2325, appointment of member to the Department of Family and Children's Services, Brandy Clark, Resolution R2425, disposal of surplus county property, 2 trucks. and Resolution R 2525, Fire Protection and Rescue Services Agreement.
Okay. Is there any discussion regarding the items listed on the consent agenda as presented by the clerk? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented by Mrs. Knight.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Have a motion and a second. I will now pose Commissioner to have their vote recorded. Dr. Pullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The motion is passed by unanimous vote. Any need for an executive session? All right, hearing none, we will. So I have no, we'll move for an adjournment. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
And I'll second it.
All right. We are hereby adjourned.